Chapter 1750 Slave Insect Bracelet. The entire High Heaven sect has Yi Siyun presiding over the overall situation. There is no need for Yang Kai to put much effort into it. Even if Yang Kai is not there, everything is handled properly. After separating from the elder, Yang Kai went to see little senior sister again. On this trip to gloomy Soul Island, Yang Kai's biggest gain is naturally the tens of thousands of muddy heavenly lotus in different colors. So many muddy heavenly lotus, even if Yang Kai personally made it. It also takes a lot of time. But for Chia Ning Chang, time is not a problem. She can use pill refining to practice. Muddy heavenly lotus and muddy heaven pill cannot be found outside at all. Chia Ning Chang expressed a keen interest in this. After getting all the medicinal herbs and pill recipe, he immediately entered retreat, concentrate on pill refining. I believe that in the near future, High Heaven sect will have a large number of muddy heaven pills. With these body-tempering medicine pills, the overall strength of High Heaven sect will undoubtedly be upgraded to another level. For these upcoming muddy heaven pills, Yang Kai also has an own arrangement. Although tens of thousands of muddy heavenly lotuses seem to be huge, if pill success is refined, it will only be 7 or 8 at most. One medicine pill only. Now there are tens of thousands of High Heaven sect disciple, and these 70 to 80,000 medicine pill are naturally impossible per person. In addition to those void return stage powerhouses who are eligible to receive a certain amount of muddy heaven pill for body tempering, Yang Kai intends to set aside a portion of muddy heaven pill as a reward for the ordinary who has a contribution to High Heaven sect disciple. Of course, this is just the idea in Yang Kai's mind. If you want to implement it, you will need to wait for a certain amount of time. Moreover, he doesn't plan to own it to deal with this matter, and prepares to leave it to Yi Siyun. After coming out of the Pill King Peak where Chia Ning Chang is, Yang Kai went straight to the 6th layer of the flowing flame sandfield, where Yang Yan was sleeping. Shi Shiren entered the attic and came to the 2-layer location. Yang Yan noticeably detained his divine soul spirit body into the consciousness sea. As it was when we met last time, the divine soul spirit body of the two people sat cross-legged across from each other, and below is Yang Yan roaring, the extremely hot consciousness sea. I heard Yi Siyun say, "Did you hunt down the insect emperor?" "What's the situation?" Yang Yan asked. "Now I am the Dark Star Master, how do you think he will end up?" Yang Kai laughed. "It looks like it's dead." Yang Yan nodded lightly, then sighed slightly. "Insect emperor is also a hero. Didn't expect to die in your hands in the end. If this is for him, the enemies know that. I'm afraid I'll dare not believe it." Yang Kai doesn't think so. No matter how bad the insect emperor is, it was 10,000 years ago. Before, his cultivation level dropped sharply. Neither Void King stage nor Yang Kai is fighting in Gloom Star. There is simply no way to survive. However, the biggest reason why Insect Emperor can be killed this time is that Yang Yan gave the origin of Gloom Star to Yang Kai. Otherwise, with Yang Kai's current ability, there is no way to take Insect Emperor. His ability to escape is really good. Even if the ordinary Void King stage wants to hunt him down, it will be unable to do anything. The harvest is not small. Yang Yan pursed his lips and smiled. There are many good things on the Insect Emperor. I didn't see any good things, only one combine cuts the soul blade and a bracelet-like secret treasure. Cuts the soul blade and the bracelet-like secret treasure are undoubtedly all Emperor treasure level existences, and Nirvana Thunder Bead, Mysterious Boundary Bead and like 3 flaming fire rings. Yang Kai knows the role of cuts the soul blade. It can kill divine soul. It is unpredictable. Unfortunately, the Emperor treasure level is too high and Yang Kai cannot use it. It can only temporarily warm and nourish refining. One day it can play its role. Yang Kai is confused by the secret treasure that looks like a bracelet, and even its purpose is not clear. Slave insect bracelet. Yang Yan raised her eyebrows, and said secret treasure's name. That thing is called slave insect bracelet. Yang Kai astonished. Yes, the secret treasure in the hands of the insect emperor are all famous good things. Needless to say, cuts the soul blade, slave insect bracelet is the basis for him. Oh, what's the use of this stuff? Let's hear it. Yang Kai suddenly became interested. Slave insect bracelet is very useful. Yang Yan pursed his lips and smiled, not to mention that this secret treasure is inherently able to restrain those strange and unusual insects, even for some smaller monsters. Beast also has some deterrent effects. It is said that the small things raised by the insect emperor in the slave insect bracelet, once released, there is no problem in destroying a star territory. Yang Kai, expression grave, stunned, said, "There is still something in the slave insect bracelet." Yang Yan tenderly giggles. Then where do you think the insect emperor keeps his little things? It will never be kept on the owner, right? Slave insect bracelet is where he raises strange and unusual insects. Insect emperor has dozens of ancient strange insects that have long been extinct. Each of them is extremely brutal, and each has a different purpose. Back then, I used to eat. Slave insect bracelet is not a small loss. The more Yang Kai listened, the brighter his eyes became, and he seemed to have discovered a secret of shocking. Have you moved? Yang Yan teased. To be honest, there are some. Yang Kai gradually reduced his own excitement. But I still think that practice should be people-oriented. This kind of slavery can only be used as an auxiliary. If you really spend your mind on this above, I'm afraid that some neglect the root and pursue the tip. Yang Yan slowly shook his head. 3,000 great Tao, slave insects are also one of them. Otherwise, the insect emperor is also impossible to achieve that day. It can only be said that your Tao is different from insect emperor. The Tao is different. Yang Kai looking thoughtful. Yang Yan chuckles. These are still too early for you. You should be promoted to the Void King stage earlier. After the Void King stage, you will see more and see further. Quote. Void King stage above, is there a more profound realm? Yang Kai suddenly asked. Naturally there is. Where are you? Yang Kai stared at Yang Yan with scorching eyes. I'm above that realm, Yang Yan replied lightly. Yang Kai fell silent. From the information Yang Yan revealed, it is not difficult for him to infer that Void King stage above does have more profound realm, and here is more profound realm above, and more strong presence. Yang Yan is in this column. When he didn't know this information, Yang Kai didn't think there was anything, but after he knew it, he felt that Own is like standing at the bottom of a mountain, looking up at the majestic mountains, and the mountains are filled with clouds and mist. People can't see the scenery ahead. The road ahead is endless, Martial Dao has no peak. Yang Yan didn't speak anymore, but looked at Yang Kai's reaction and found that he was not at all because of what was hit by it. Instead, after a while of silence, lightly exhaled and his expression became relaxed. He got up, and his eyes like burning flames showed his deep in one's heart momentum. Yang Yan pursed his lips and smiled, applauding. You have a good mentality. Yang Kai said dryly, self-practice, so far, several decades, step by step from the bottom. To go through arduous training or hard work. Now it's a small accomplishment. Even if the road ahead is thorny and difficult, I will only go through arduous training or hard work again. Sooner or later, I can stand just like you high, you can see as far away as you. Yang Yan covered his red lips with a small hand, and smiled. Can I say that the ruling can teach you? Follow you. Yang Kai shrugged, teasing, as long as you are not afraid to call Own old. Yang Yan couldn't help but stare at him. By the way, that slave insect bracelet, can I use it now? Yang Kai asked. It's better not to. Yang Yan looked solemnly. The strange and unusual insects in slave insect bracelet are extremely fierce. With your current cultivation level, even if you let him out, I can't command and drive, I can only be backlashed. You can see that the insect emperor uses slave insect bracelet to deal with you. Yang Kai shook the head. He has only used 10,000 poisonous evil from beginning to end. Insect, to control the subordinates of Own, use 10,000 poisonous evil insect to body possession. That's it, even insect emperor dare not use it easily, let alone you. Wait for you to get to Void, let's talk about King stage. Also, Yang Kai was nodded indifferently. Anyway, he now has a lot of methods against the enemy, and he doesn't lack the help of slave insect bracelet. Next, Yang Kai told Yang Yan about Gloomy Soul Island again. To Gloomy Soul Island, Yang Yan did not deny that it was related to Own, and told Yang Kai that Gloomy Soul Island did she sealed it up with a means. Yang Yan didn't explain what was hidden inside. I can only tell you that Gloomy Soul Island is a door. If you really want to open it, you can gather all the Star Emperor tokens, and you will know when the time comes. After coming out of Yang Yan, Yang Kai went to Ice and Snow Peak again. Ice and Snow Peak is one of the 72 auxiliary peaks among the 81 peaks of High Heaven sect, with good spiritual energy and beautiful scenery. It is rare that there is an ice attribute earth arteries under the peak, so within several dozen li of Ice and Snow Peak, the climate is cold all year round, the temperature is extremely low, and occasionally big snowflakes fall, bringing the entire mountain peak shaped into a silvery white color. This situation became more obvious after Su Yan stayed in Ice and Snow Peak. Since Su Yan became the Ice and Snow Peak Peak Master, the ice-cold spiritual energy of the entire Ice and Snow Peak has almost been so strong that it cannot be dissipated. The martial artist with slightly lower strength is even close to ice. And Snow Peak can't do it. Even the more advanced martial artist, after entering ice and Snow Peak, has to run St. Yuan to withstand the severe cold. But this kind of environment is extremely comfortable for Su Yan. There are no other people on ice and Snow Peak. Only a few people from Ice Sect live here practice. Apart from Su Yan, they are King Ya and Qian Yue Qian Hao siblings. Yang Kai went straight to the southwest corner of ice and Snow Peak. On the ground, there is a thick layer of ice, light can be seen. Yang Kai's footsteps are extremely light. In the southwest corner, under a giant tree wrapped in silver and white, Su Yan sits cross-legged on the 10,000 years ice jade desk, behind which a pair of white Saint Yuan wing opens. Pretty, the expression on her face is dignified and sacred, coldly inviolable. She pinches the strange seal arts in both hands, 3 feet in front of her. The profound frost divine sword obtained from Ice Heart Valley is quietly suspended in midair. Following her breathing technique, the ice attribute spiritual energy of between heaven and earth swarmed into her within the body, like Wang Xi returning to the sea, and the white wing behind it also flapped with its small amplitude. With Su Yan as the center, within the radius of thousands feet, there is a peculiar domain permeating, which seems to be able to freeze worlds, all living things in it. Almost the potential field of big accomplishment.